And Zuck is doing a countdown, and that was weird because I got a stuttering there. But well, you counted down. It was like 5, 4, 3.
Oh, well, I didn't say anything after 2. I didn't say anything after 2, but I don't know why the other one stuttered.
The audio is cutting out because this recording is brought to you by the fine people over at Verizon Wireless.
We can suck ass with the best of them.
Yeah, having internet connectivity issues. So stream's going to be pretty bad, but we're going to give it a shot here anyway because
Fuck it.
Lunchroom Syndicate has some hockey to talk about.
Oh, yeah, we do. Hopefully we get through this with no major issues.
Doubt it.
It's us recording. What else is new? All right. Anyway, I'm Christopher. That is Jay. I almost forgot my name. Over there is Jay. And, yeah, we got hockey. I can't believe it's back.
Yeah, we're going to give some more predictions, I'm guessing, hearing this. We haven't discussed what we're going to be talking about at all. It's kind of a surprise for each other and getting some initial reaction from the other person here to record. So a little bit different from our usual over rehearsal of the material.
Yep.
But we'll give some more predictions, and if it's anything like our prediction of we won't see any more hockey this year, you'll know which way to bet, the opposite of what we say.
And I'm happy hockey's back. It seems like it's going pretty good. So.
It's a disaster like we've seen in some other sports, and it's going pretty smooth. But then again, we kind of handed everything off to Canada to take care of.
Yeah, and that's probably for the best.
Yeah.
Old can of farf. Inside joke, people. All right. Anyway, so let's get started. Might as well get started talking because we're not going to have our normal intro and all that. It is a Zoom call. It's going to consider like a video podcast with crappy video and shitty quality video because I forgot to buy a camera. So the first thing I want to talk about is the format itself. Personally, I'm not going to lie. I kind of love it. I kind of like this format.
Well, I'd be interested to see this format in a regular year. This year, we've had some upsets that I don't want to say they wouldn't have happened or they would have happened given a continuous play. I mean, the teams are a lot different from when they last played, so it's weird calling them an upset.
Yeah, I agree. I like I said, yeah, I agree with you. Some of the upsets probably wouldn't happen. I don't know if Montreal beats Pittsburgh on a normal year. That seems probably unlikely. The Blackhawks over Edmonton, probably really unlikely. But yeah, I kind of actually like this format a lot, and I know it will never happen in a normal regular season, most likely. But maybe when the Kraken get in, put it in there. Implement it, see what happens. I like the idea of what do you want to call it, a regular season qualifier, Stanley Cup qualifier, Stanley Cup playoff. I don't care. That's semantics to me. I enjoy this. I enjoy this setup. I love the round robin setup. Fuck you, Boston. Got one. Yeah, and I know people are going to say, oh, well, it makes the regular season meaningless. Not really, because the way I would do it, kind of give you an idea, because I've been thinking about this all day, actually. Probably all the last couple of days, in all honesty, is you have to cut the regular season down, that's for sure. You can't do 82 games and have this. That's just adding too many games probably. But you can do that. I think my ideal, what I thought of, was about 74. Now I do anything from 70 to about 78 or so. I don't really care. But 74, I went with that because it kind of makes the schedule pretty good. You have 4 divisions of 8. You play. I went with you play every team in your division 6 times. Let's make the division really worth it. You play the other division in your conference, home and away, and you only play one of the 2 other divisions in the other conference, and then you switch every year, home and away. That way you're not playing every West team. You can have one long road trip to go west, one long road trip to go east. I think it helped the schedule, helped travel. You can have the top 2 teams move on like you have this year to the round robin and figure out 1 through 4. And then if you're worried about, well, what if the number 1 seed like Boston doesn't, what do they win? All right, well, they can have all three of their round robin games at home. The second seed can have 2 home, 1 away, and so on and so forth. And then the fourth team would have to travel to all 3 cities. Again, these are in division or in conference games, so they're not traveling far. A little bit more in the West, admittedly, but I think this would be fun. You just eliminate the 4 worst teams. Nobody wants to see them anyway. Do you want to see Detroit 82 games? I sure as hell don't.
Well, I don't even want to see them once a year. But there are teams that if we don't play, we only play once every 2 years. It'd be a little disappointing. Being a Sabres fan, that probably takes Edmonton down to only seeing McDavid every other year, and that would suck.
And that's fair, and that's a fair point. And I guess that's the what's the word I'm looking for, the bit of the downside that I took with this, trying to make the division more important. You're gonna have the top 2 teams make it, then you have what they did this year. Again, there's probably a bunch of ways to make this right, make the schedule right. I'm not an expert on that, and I don't care to be an expert because that's probably complicated. You could probably have it where, but I do want the division. If you want the division more important, which is how the normal playoff is now set up, which is stupid, then this is the route you go, or something like that.
And again, looking at it in a typical season, I think would be a lot more telling of what this would be. Right now, we have teams playing for home ice advantage while they're all playing either in Edmonton or all playing in Toronto. Like, I get it. You get last change, but we're calling it home ice advantage. It's kind of ridiculous right now. But we are getting to see some upsets, and we talked about that a little bit to start the topic off with. One of them being Montreal and Pittsburgh. I love seeing Montreal win, which is weird because I'm probably a bit bigger fan of Pittsburgh than I am.
It would be fun.
Just a bigger bit.
Yeah.
Bigger. But all I heard going into this was Montreal didn't stand a chance. They looked at them during practice, and I heard a lot of how sloppy they were looking. They were going to get annihilated. And so I enjoyed seeing them win for that aspect. Going over to the other one that you mentioned, Chicago and Edmonton. I think Chicago a bigger stretch for that would have happened just because how much time off they had, I think, benefited players like Duncan, Jonathan Hayes, right, a lot more than it would benefited anybody. So continuing directly off of the regular season, I think Edmonton has a bigger advantage. But, Chicago played really well. They held, I might be wrong, but I think Draisaitl only had a point in one game.
I think he had 2 goals total. But.
Yeah, goals, but I think they both came in the one game.
Yeah.
Played well the whole time, but other than that, they shut them down, and the big players for Chicago stepped up. He had a good series. Pat Kane, Patty Kane.
Hey, Patrick Kane doing Patrick Kane things.
Yeah. So, I'm not upset that Chicago won, but, I wanted to see Edmonton win because, Connor's my favorite player in the league. I want to see him do well. I want to see him in the playoffs and playing meaningful games late in the season and holding up a Stanley Cup. And not going to be this year.
No, this year's a weird year, though, so a lot of these results you kind of can't – you got to take with a big grain of salt, admittedly, like you said. And Edmonton, unfortunately, they even had home ice. They had legit home ice, and oops. But, yeah, it's a weird year. But I kind of want to go back to Pittsburgh a little bit. Sidney Crosby had made a comment, I don't remember if it was today or yesterday, about he basically saying that the Stanley Cup window's closing, or is closed. I don't remember the exact quote. And it brought an interesting discussion on him. Is their window closed, and is it time to blow it up? Now, I know this year is weird. But last year, they weren't competitive against the Islanders. They got blown out in that series, 4-0 sweep. I don't know if maybe the games were competitive, but that's an embarrassing loss for a team that a lot of people thought could make another run.
I want to take a look at another team that answered that here fairly recently, the Detroit Red Wings.
That's exactly my thought process.
We said a long time ago, hey, guys, I know Zetterberg is still one of the best players in the league. Datsuk is one of the better players in the league. Yeah, it's time to move these players because if you don't, you're not going to get any value out of the player. If they hire when you get nothing. You have to start thinking about the future. Maybe that's the route that Pittsburgh has to take now too, as you have to start moving Crosby, Malkin, Letang, so you don't completely bottom out and have an embarrassing season, and that's coming from a Sabres fan.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Detroit is the perfect example. That was exactly where I was going to lead into it because, like you said, we talked about it, and now, they got nothing for their piece. And I get it. It's tough to trade franchise icons. Sidney Crosby and Malkin are part of the Pittsburgh Penguin lore. They're part of the team. But this isn't the early 90s. This is the 80s. Hell, Wayne Gretzky got traded. Anyone can get pretty much traded at this point. And I know that was before salary cap. But let's be realistic here. Crosby and Malkin can't carry the team like they did in the past. Before, yeah. Now, they're still great players. There's no doubt in my mind they're great players, but not what they were. These guys are in their mid-30s now. And Malkin's a physical player. His game could drop off quick. Crosby's still going to be good for a while. So, and trading them it seems like a crazy thing, but for their salary cap purposes, neither one's cap is extreme, I don't think. Crosby's, I think, 8.7, and Malkin's 9. I don't know how many years are left, though. But they're both around that. And I think a contending team that had this cap would be wise to give up. You would have to give up a lot. Pittsburgh will probably have to. But every year that we move forward, they get closer to Detroit Red Wing level like they saw this year, who's still paying for it.
Now, the only thing that I'll give a difference between Pittsburgh and Detroit is as good as Datsuk and Zetterberg were, neither of them are Crosby.
Yes, and that is absolutely true. And
I think you're more likely to see Malkin get moved, Letang get moved, than Crosby.
Unless Crosby's like ask.
One of the few players that I would like him to see him stay on one team entire year.
Ovechkin being another.
Yeah, they've been not just the face of the franchise, but those have been the two players in the league until McDavid came in. And so you're seeing a little bit of a change in the guard, but it's still Crosby and Ovechkin. Ovechkin decide they don't want it anymore.
Yeah, and that's exactly. And Crosby's still one of the biggest names in the league, and yeah, I do agree. I would love to see Crosby stay, but Pittsburgh's got some hard questions I think coming up. And honestly, they could easily say, well, this year was a weird year, the pandemic. Let's see what next year brings. We don't even know what next year's going to bring. Is it going to be another bubble? Is it going to be home ice? But no fans, partial fans. We don't know. Nobody knows. We don't know when and if they'll have a season. I mean, at worst, they'll do what they kind of did this year, but they'll have to have more hub cities. That just has to happen. So, what do you do? It's probably going to be Canadian, which, you have 6-7 Canadian cities that might be a good idea. But yeah, I think Pittsburgh's looking at some tough decisions down the road, and you got to be careful here. I mean, Chicago's another pretty good example of not letting guys go when they should. With Taves falling off a bit, Seabrook's a mess. Duncan Keith's not what he was.
I think they slept too long on Seabrook. I think it's late to get really good value for him. I think he can still get somewhat of a return, but you're not looking at a first-round pick and top prospects in return anymore.
But
they're going to be coming across some cap issues also, and I don't think it'd be a bad move to move a player like Patrick Kane back to Buffalo.
Right. Do we really want to put that on Patrick Kane, though? That's embarrassing.
For me, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
I want to.
yeah, we both would love Patty Kane on Buffalo, but I mean,
I don't.
I
I think it's very unlikely. I don't think Buffalo has that they're willing to part with that it would take to get Kane. They have the pieces that it would take to get Kane, but not the pieces that they're willing to part with. I just don't think it's likely. Patrick Kane has no movement clause. I don't think he's going to want to go to a team like Buffalo in his career. It's not going to happen. It's just fun to think about.
Yeah, it's fun to talk about, and yeah, it's not going to happen. But I kind of want to stay on this subject a little bit with the Pittsburgh and stuff, but kind of go with the very strange lottery. One of these 8 teams that got eliminated, and we don't know Columbus, Toronto's down right now. One of those 8 teams is getting the first overall pick, and they're all at 12.5%. What's that?
What? Oh, we're going to find out tomorrow.
Yeah, we find out tomorrow which of those 8 teams that lost in the qualifying round get the number 1 pick. Can you imagine? Let's imagine for a second if Edmonton wins it, even Pittsburgh. Then you have your next guy up. Toronto, if they lose, I don't know. I haven't looked. It was 2-0 when I last looked. Or some of these teams that are better than what they show, but get this. I mean, I don't know how good. I can't remember his name. The number 1 overall pick is this year. I know he's not McDavid. I know he's not like that, but. Man, that could be huge. It could be game-changing for any of those 8 teams.
Now, sticking with the 3 teams that you mentioned, man, it's almost bad for Toronto. Toronto wins the lottery. They have to trade that pick. They don't have the room to sign anybody like that. They have so much money already in their forwards.
Yeah.
They have money anyway. Man, they would have to trade it.
Yeah. But even still,
Edmonton, looking at Edmonton, and well, they always win the first overall pick, and they haven't been far enough removed from a first overall pick where you're like, oh, I'm okay with them getting another one. But that's kind of crazy thinking about another top guy in that forward group where they do have a little bit of room. They could make it work. Mm-hmm. Pittsburgh. We already talked about Pittsburgh's aging, so getting rid of one face and having the next face of franchise stepping right in, that's an ideal situation for them.
Yeah, and that would be perfect. And for teams like Montreal and even Chicago, may have been more destructive to make the next round because now they're out of the running. And again, every one of those teams get a 12.5% chance of winning this lottery. There is no weighted scale here, so any one of them could have won it. Is that good for? Well, yeah, it's cool that they made the playoffs, but they're both kind of bad teams.
I heard somebody talking about how they hope they hate Toronto, and they hope Toronto would win because they thought it would be funny because then they couldn't get the first overall pick. Like your goal going into a season is never to get the first overall pick. It's to make the playoffs, make a splash, and play meaningful games. That's your goal. So would it be funny if Toronto won? Well, no, not if you hate Toronto.
Yeah, no, that makes it better.
Like, I can't imagine anybody in Toronto right now going, "Oh, come on! I hope Columbus wins tonight."
Yeah, no, I can't either, and especially after the epic comeback. And by the way, I can officially confirm that the Columbus Blue Jackets did beat Toronto 4-0. Good job, Toronto, for not showing up in Game 5, making every Toronto fan excited after the huge comeback they had last night, or the other night. Oops. So Toronto is now in that pool. We have some good teams in that pool. It is crazy to think of these teams having that number 1 pick. And I'll be honest, I don't know. I really didn't like that idea. And I think if going back to what I was talking about with the implementation of this format in the regular season, I don't like that idea if they implement it to have the losers in that lottery. I don't think that's a good idea.
Oh, no. I think that's a whole nother issue of I don't know. I think I'd kind of almost like to see it where the best odds go to like the 8 worst teams. So really get rid of teams trying to tank. So the 8 worst team has the best odds getting the first overall, and the worst team has least odds of getting the first overall, but it's limited to those 8 teams.
Yeah, that's definitely they should have been like that. This I don't really. I mean, I kind of get because there's teams that would normally been the lottery. Like, well, we only screw you over. Well, congratulations, you might have gave Pittsburgh or Edmonton more firepower, or you might have gave Toronto a hell of a trade piece to get a defender that they need or whatever they need.
I don't even know what Toronto would do with anything like that. That's just it's crazy to think about. I mean, it's almost like when we're playing NHL on Xbox and we start our team and we're like, we go through and we take every player that we want and we're trying to force trade because we want to have, and we don't even know what to do. Like we have Barkov down on our AHL team and like.
You know, if you want to go, maybe one thing that just popped in my mind randomly, and it ain't going to happen, if you want to package like Austin Matthews with that for Oliver Ekman-Larsson and a few other guys, I don't know what else Arizona could possibly give up, including maybe first rounders in the future.
Did you just package Austin Matthews and the first overall pick for OEL? No, I like OEL, but come on.
I know. For us, there's other considerations. I'm not saying that trade straight up. That's stupid. But if you can make something work, because the only real way you're going to do this is have to get rid of a big name. It's probably someone like a Mitch Marner or something like that would be the most likely. Yeah, Austin Matthews. I was thinking Arizona because he's from Arizona. That's why I said that. That's never going to happen. Don't worry. Although, I don't think there was some controversy with Austin Matthews in Toronto a while back. I don't remember if it was last year or not. There was some kind of, and he might now be particularly a big fan of Tavares, so we don't know. Maybe there's something there. Again, I don't know. I'm kind of talking on my butt a little bit, but I do remember some kind of issues here. But anyway, you want to add anything to that subject?
No.
Not the trade shit, but sorry for the cussing.
On your agenda here.
All right. I know you hate this team. I hate this team, but we got to talk about them a little bit. The fucking Boston Bruins. Hilariously going winless. I know, really, the difference between 1 and 4 probably ain't that much right now. Although Philadelphia playing Montreal is probably better, happier than playing Carolina right now. But Boston destroyed Carolina last year. The Easter, I don't know if that's going to be different. Depending, again, we'll get into predictions. Predicting's so freaking impossible right now. But
yeah, well, I have a dartboard ready, so we're good.
Yes, but let's talk about Boston a little bit. Trying to put all biases aside, which is impossible, but we're trying to. Should people be worried about Boston? They lost all 3 games against the best competition in the East. I know.
I think at any point, everyone should be worried about Boston. I think they're a garbage team. And they show up and they teams. I can't ever figure it out because they're just horrible. But at the same time, you have to worry about them because they are horrible. They're going to come after your kneecaps. They're going to come after your throats. They're going to come licking you, and you can't have people licking during the COVID.
No, that is not social distancing.
So that, for that, I think Brad Marchand is the most dangerous player in the league right now.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You are not wrong. But it is hilarious that they lost all 3 games. Actually, weirdly, both number 1 seeds in the West and the East all lost all 3 games. Weird. I mean, again, this is a weird year. This is a weird playoff setup. Who knows what's going to happen in the playoffs? But just a little weird that they all lost all 3 games. The other one was St. Louis, for the record.
Again, playing for home ice advantage where there's no home ice. I'm not putting any stock into that seeding little round robin thing that they had going.
Right.
They were just warm-up games. The biggest problems that came out of that were injuries.
Yeah.
And, just trying to stay healthy and while also trying to get ready. You can't immediately make a leap from not playing for months on end, playing playoff hockey.
Which
so you had to have warm-up. I don't think the games were nearly on pace with
Stanley Cup.
Play-in.
Would you consider that Stanley Cup playoff? I mean, I don't know if anyone really knows if they would consider that playoff hockey or not.
No, and it depends on what aspect you're talking about. Again, I don't think the players or the teams that were playing for seeding, I don't think they were playing with the same intensity as the teams that were playing for a bye, because it wasn't a playoff scenario. It wasn't an elimination scenario.
Fair.
If you're talking just like stats wise, no, they're not playoff stats. Ovechkin's goals don't count for playoffs. They don't count for Gretzky, Chase.
That's
stats don't mean anything right now up until the next round where the playoffs actually start.
Yeah. All right. Before we get into predictions, Jay, is there any other topics you want to talk about at the moment?
No, we've been covering stuff that I was thinking about pretty good.
I figured you and I would probably be on the same wavelength, but I was trying to come up with different ones.
Yeah, we were talking about Arizona GM the other morning while we were on the phone, and I just don't think there's anything interesting for me to add to that. It's just weird. So it's just a lot of speculation on things that are going on, and I don't want to talk about speculation, but that's something that I've been keeping an eye out for.
Yeah. Credit to Arizona too for not being distracted.
I don't think we're going to have any resolution. I don't think anything's going to be talked about that until this is officially over.
Yeah, absolutely. It was weird. Yeah, it is a weird scenario. But all right. So we ready for predictions? What we can do? Because all with Columbus beating Toronto, that means Columbus will take on Tampa Bay, which is kind of funny.
What's the score in that game?
It's 3-0. It's final.
Oh, it is final.
It is final. Columbus shut out, which is hilarious in every respect. I don't know. I can hear Steve Dangle now screaming.
Oh man. Yeah, I know. We've been talking at work about Zamboni drivers going in the playoffs.
Just for the record, the two teams who have actual home ice advantage lost in the qualifying round. Just going to point that out. Granted, no fans and that doesn't really mean, but they're home. They both lost. All right.
Well, yeah. So we're talking earlier, like Boston losing home ice advantage. Well, that's a positive right now. Nobody wants that shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yes, I'm looking forward to Dangle's reactions to the playoff.
I'm ready.
Yeah, big fans over here.
What's that?
So we're big fans over here. What do you guys?
Yeah, I love Steve. I love Dangle. Weird, but he's awesome. I like. He kind of reminds me of us in some ways. I don't know.
Well, a little bit. We haven't gone into angry tirades on here. But
we haven't done any videos.
Yeah, we haven't talked about things that have really set me off, like talking about Hasek in '99.
Mm-hmm.
But we can share in the joy of Brad Marchand's shootout attempt where he got caught.
Oh, worst
thing
ever. I love it.
It makes me smile. Makes me. If I'm having a bad day, I just think about that and drift off into my own little happy place where he's crying. Good time.
Crying in Game 7. I can't believe I changed with less than 10 seconds left. I'm a jackass. Give up a fucking goal, you idiot. Anyway, all right, let's get the predictions. Fuck Boston.
What do we got?
Huh?
What do we got for matchups?
All right, we'll start with the East. The 1 seed Philadelphia. That's still weird to say. Versus Montreal.
Man, I don't want to count Montreal out because, again, like I said, that's the only reason I'm happy that they won it, because everybody was counting them out. So I don't want to just immediately go and count them out now. But Philly, Philly, I mean, a short series.
Yeah, it's a set. I think they're all 7 games, right, from here on out. They're back to regular playoff format.
Yep.
So you think Philly? I think Philly too. I'm not even gonna attempt to name a game. Maybe through 6. I don't know. But it's just impossible to figure out.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I wasn't gonna name off. I was gonna throw out in 5, but I wanted to. I think Philly has us as long as they don't, try to coast through the series and they actually show up. They have some big time players there that will show up.
And this kind of group, I know it doesn't seem like a long time ago where Philly was in the finals against Chicago, but that's been about, what, 8 years or so?
Well, the team's a lot different now. I was thinking, players that need to show up for them. And the top players that I was thinking of were not named Giroux and were not named Voracek. So, yeah, I think Philly's – this is a really good opportunity for Philly.
It is. And hey, what? I understand if a team wins a cup, it might be a bit of a, this year's weird. But hey, a team still won a cup. They still went to the kind of. If they win the cup, I'm sure they won't be mad. I don't think they're going to win the cup, but that's a different story.
You have teams. Let's just talk about that real quick. And should we have an asterisk on this? And is this year going to be more difficult than other years, or is this year going to be easier than other years? And you can't say every year is just different. Every year teams have to overcome different things to win a Stanley Cup. That's what it's all about. It's overcoming obstacles. So this is just a different type than you've seen before, but that's really not different than other years. You have to overcome things, and it's going to be different every year in what you have to overcome. So you're going to hear teams, the team that wins the Stanley Cup saying, yes, this was the hardest year to win the Stanley Cup, the hardest in history. And then you're going to have teams that are eliminated here in the first round and, no, it was easy. And, Philly doesn't, I'm just saying Philly wins.
Yeah, we're talking about Philly.
If Philly wins, other teams would just be like, no, it doesn't count. It was a weird year. It's just what you're going to have. You're going to have the fan base of the winning team saying it's well-deserved and the hardest, and you're going to have fans of other teams. English. Wow.
You fail English. That's impossible.
But, yeah, you're going to have fans of teams that don't make it to be legitimized. So, they can have that argument. I'm a Sabres fan. I'm not involved in it. I haven't seen the playoffs in a long while, and I don't play.
You make it on 24 teams, make it. Now, I will say, I just smacked my notes. I thought I was going to knock something. The one thing I will say, I could see the possibility as we get later in the playoffs, since they had, multiple months off, the players are going to be fresher. The playoff games might be pretty good. You won't have that almost lethargic feeling as you get later in the rounds. It might have some really good series going forward.
Yeah, but on the other side of that, you have players that aren't as limber. They're a little tight going in, and you have greater chances for injuries coming up. So again, it's and I did preference later in the round. I should have said later in the round as we get maybe close to the conference finals and Stanley Cup, where you have a bunch of games under your belt. You're pretty much back to normal relative to what it is in terms of play. But you're right. Let's move on to the 2-7 matchup because there is reseeding after this, so we have to keep that in mind. It's back to like it used to be. Yay! they're reseeding. It's not 1 versus 4 the next round for sure. It is a reseed after this too. So, yay! Let's keep doing that. I mean, I don't know why you. No, I don't like the current setup for the playoffs anyway. We've talked about that before. Let's move on. We hate it.
Probably the most hilarious one we touched on a little bit ago. Tampa Bay versus Columbus. I mean, I know who I'm gonna pick. I'm just gonna get out there. Tampa Bay should win this series. This is not the same Columbus team as last year. They lost Panarin, Zingle, Bobrovsky, although their goaltending is actually better this year in reality. But this is not the same Columbus team that swept them last year. And Duchesne. They lost Duchesne too.
No, but they're a team. They play really good defensive hockey. Um, you know, during the regular season when they were struggling with a lot of key injuries that they're not concerned with at the current moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they have players that can shut down an offense. Was it game 1 against Toronto where they won 2-0? Their defense started reminding me of 1990s New Jersey Devils defenses.
Yeah. I think I saw a stat where Toronto didn't get a shot on goal for the final 6 minutes of that game. Which is
it was
insane in today's NHL.
Yeah, they shut them down. So, I'm not going to count out Columbus. I think Tampa Bay is the better team on paper, but when you say they're the better team on paper, that means they're up against the salary cap. Maybe it means they have better players, maybe not. I don't know. I'm just not going to count them out. There's a few players on Columbus that I really like. Seth Jones and
that came in as well. He's another one that I've grown into liking. This is. I think very.
Wenberg has been playing decent here since the break, which is kind of weird to say. I haven't mentioned Wenberg in a long freaking time.
Pierre-Luc Dubois. He's been
real solid. Yeah, they have some top players in Columbus.
I don't want to dismiss Columbus. That's not what I want to do at all. Tampa Bay.
I don't think it's big of a mismatch. And looking at what happened last year, man, Tampa can't let anything like that happen again.
No. The good thing for them is, and I think this is where this weirdness helps Tampa Bay. If this was a normal year going into normal playoffs, they would be under insane amount of pressure. I don't think that pressure is there just because granted, they're playing Columbus and people are going to talk about last year. It's a weird year that maybe people are kind of forgetting, maybe not forgetting, but kind of not giving them the pressure isn't as bad.
I don't think last year is going to come up like it would in a typical year.
Yeah, I agree, and that's why I think Tampa Bay's going to win. I'm not going to give you a game. I think I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. I do think Columbus is going to do a good job. I agree with you. I think Columbus is going to keep it close. But it's definitely not going to be a sweep for Columbus or Tampa Bay most likely. Columbus is definitely playing really good hockey anyway, so I'm going to go with Tampa.
Yep, same.
All right. Looking at the 3-6 matchup, interesting one on paper. Washington and the Islanders.
Man, I count out the Islanders all the time. Like, I don't understand how they're as good as they are.
Coach. Being a coach is a big thing, and they have Barry Trotz, I think, right? Yeah. Who ironically won the cup with Washington a couple years ago and then didn't re-sign. That was weird, but it's gonna be a good series, most likely. I think it's going to be a fun one. This is a tough one to pick, in all honesty. I think Washington has the edge, but, yeah, I'm with you. I'm not going to count out the Islanders. I did last year against Pittsburgh, and, ooh, buddy.
Yeah, last year we were both saying that the Islanders were going to be a bottom of the league team, and but they weren't. I don't get how they're as good as they are. They have Barzal, who every team in the league should be wanting him on their team. He's an amazing player. I was surprised when he got drafted how far he slid down. It didn't make any sense to me that he would slide that far and showing everybody, hey, he should have been probably a top 3 pick.
Yeah.
Without looking at names.
Yeah.
He's that good of a player. But outside of him, I don't get it.
They're kind of like Columbus in a lesser way. They're well I think they're better coached. I like Barry Trotz more than John Tortorella, but they don't have the talent that Columbus has as much top-end talent. I think Columbus has a lot of that, except for Barzal being the obvious one. But, man, they play as a team. And I think in a weird way, this format really helps them too because of any team in the playoff, they're the one used to not having home ice. They don't really have a home right now. So this is normal for them. But they're well coached. I think
you could say that of Florida too, and what happened to them?
Well, but Florida's not well ran. Florida's a mess in general. Islanders have been pretty well ran the last few years. I'll give them that. Maybe not in the past, but lately they've been pretty solid and good coaching. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm going Washington, but just to let you know that's me going, like I don't get New York Islanders. At the start of all this, I liked Florida and just got asses handed to them by the Islanders of all teams. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Washington. So, congratulations, New York Islanders, for making it to the next round.
I'm going to agree with you hesitantly. We agree. Again, that's the third straight series. But, yeah, I'm with you. It's going to be the Islanders, man. They're good. I'm not going to disrespect them. They're a very good team, very well coached, very well-rounded team. Maybe not a lot of talent on the top end, but they play for each other, and that means a lot.
Yeah, I don't mean disrespect. Mine's confusion. Like, it's not like a Boston level of disrespect where I'm saying, fuck you. I have no issues with you. I like the Islanders.
Yeah.
I just don't know why they are.
Yeah. And speaking of that team you don't like, rematch of the Eastern Conference Finals last year, Boston and Carolina.
Carolina in 4. That's 4 periods.
I know Carolina will 4 periods.
Carolina wins.
I love to see Carolina win. I don't know what series.
Getting that prediction from me, I will never in my life take Boston in any fucking series ever.
Yeah, fair. And that's fair. I don't blame you. I'm going to try to be a little bit more unbiased, just a little bit.
I think well with them. Even without the bias, I think I like Carolina. Mm-hmm. With the bias, I love Carolina.
Boston does have, all bias aside, Boston does have some genuinely good talent. I do like Patrice Bergeron. I love David Pastrnak. We talked about that before. We wish he wasn't on Boston.
He'd be one of my favorite players to play on any other team.
Yeah, and there's a couple other guys that I don't mind on the team, but Boston's Boston. They're a bunch of punks. I don't care. Fuck you, all you Boston fans. Comment down below how much you hate us and we're crybabies. That helps us.
Yeah, they have, like, Kevin Miller's still on the team. Fuck that dude.
I don't know who's on the team anymore.
Yeah, Grizzle Dickens were there. Fuck that dude. Marchand's the most dangerous guy in the league because he's going to be going around fucking licking everybody.
Yeah, that's true. It's good strategy, really. Give everyone COVID. No one can play you. Win them a couple automatically. I'm going to go with you.
I don't know if I gave him an idea and he didn't think of it before, and now he's going to fucking run with it.
God damn it,
whatever. Fuck that dude.
But overall, as much of bias as I can put aside, which isn't much in the series, I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go with Carolina. I don't know what Boston's going to do. I'm with you. I don't really put a whole lot of stock in that round robin. Carolina, part of it is I would love to see Carolina go far. I love this team. We've talked about this team being a fun team, which is something you just don't see often anymore. Fuck you, Don Cherry. Man,
we'll bring up that as the closing thing. Remind me of the fun hockey. I have another topic we'll talk about
after. Okay. But yeah, I'm going to go with Carolina. I'm rooting for them more than anything. I hope they win. It wouldn't surprise me if Boston wins. I don't want to say that. I don't want to see it, but it is, as they say, what it is. Moving on to the West. We'll move on to the West first round real quick. I got to pull it up because I don't know the series offhand, actually. I do the East, but the West, for some reason, I'm kind of been slipping a bit.
Well, you give me some names. I'll go ahead and ponder if I'm going to change my Stanley Cup prediction here.
Okay. All right. No, wrong. Phone. Okay, there we go. All right. Yes. Okay, I got the teams ready. Interesting matchup in round 1, I think. 1 versus 8, another. Vegas winning the number 1 overall seed, and Chicago.
You know, it depends on how tired Chicago's getting, but again, they got a lot of rust. They have the top end talent yet, when they're rusted up that, they were the best in the league for a while. And, they're the type of players whose skill don't diminish with age. I'm not going to count out Chicago. That's a tough series for me.
Yes.
Who's in net for Vegas?
I think it's Fleury.
And I'm going Vegas.
I'm with you. I think the turning point for me in that is Vegas might not have the same top end talent as Chicago does, but I think their depth is a lot better. They do have some good talent too. Mark Stone is amazing, and they do have some good players on that team. But I do like their goaltending better too. Fleury, I don't even know who their backup is, to be honest with you. But is it still Subban? I don't know. Chicago is a good story. It'd be fun to see him win, but I don't see it happening in this series. I think Vegas will probably pull this out, and maybe fairly easily.
Yeah, I'm going Vegas.
All right. By the way, we have not changed. We have not had one difference right now, just for the record. Another weird series. Colorado and Arizona.
Well, you give me your prediction.
I'm going to go Colorado.
Okay, because that's my Stanley Cup pick, and I'm taking them down to fucking Arizona. That's for
Boom.
sure.
Spoiler alert, City. He's going with Colorado all the way. I remember in the early 2000s, I would hate that. I don't really hate anymore. I like their team.
They have young talent that's stepping up. They have experienced talent. They have a land of God. They have McKinnons. They have Rancannons. They have good goaltending. They have Cale Makar. They have too much.
They do. They have a ton of talent. Man, they are. If you haven't watched the trade tree with Steve Dangle on the Duchesne trade and stuff like that, check that out.
Oh, what a great deal.
Yeah, that was. It was just like very similar to when they traded when they were in the Nordiques. Eric Lindros, how much that actually helped them in the long
run. Go ahead and watch. You mentioned Dangle again because apparently we're just like sucking him off this whole fucking episode.
I love Dangle's awesome. He's a kid, by the way.
Yeah, we really do. I watch all of the videos. But,
I do too.
His trade tree on Lindros. I started that 2 weeks ago. It's been playing nonstop. It's got about 14 hours left on it before that video ends up. But he's still talking about how that trade's still helping out Colorado.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then then Joe Sakic did the trade with Duchesne that just didn't just fleece one team, fleeced two teams. It fleeced the Nashville Predators too. And they didn't even
far.
Yeah, so far. And they didn't get Matt Duchesne until they signed him, ironically. But yeah, I think Colorado's going. I'm not going to say my Stanley Cup because I really don't know it right now. I'm kind of waiting to see how these matchups go because this playoff is so weird. But Colorado is a great pick because Colorado's going to be.
You'll just tell the Stanley Cup's hoisted, and then you'll say, "Oh, my prediction is
yeah, my prediction is the other team."
Playoffs are starting. You got to have a prediction, and Colorado's my.
I'm gonna have one at the end of this round. After we get done with this round, I'm gonna have one. 3-6. It's a weird West, man. Dallas at 3 and Calgary at 6. Yeah, kind of my reaction.
Sure, they lost the darts. I don't know.
This one sucks.
Calgary, I don't know why.
This one sucks They're both similar teams. They're both teams that should be better than they are. I mean, Grant Dallas wasn't in the top 4, so they were actually pretty good this year. They have incredible high-end talent with Sagan and Ben. I'm sure and Ben Bishop is a good goaltender. Hi, Jet. I don't want you up here. Get back up. I know. You just want to know I'm. Sorry, my cat. The cat. Sorry, who's lying? Yeah, this is a weird series. This would be hard normally in a normal year. And this it just makes it dark. I'm just for the sake of differential, I'm gonna go with Dallas.
So we can have a legitimate winner at the end of our
just because I like a lot of players on Calgary too. I like Monahan. I like Bennett. I like Monahan and Goodrow. I meant Goodrow was the first one I meant to say. I think I said Monahan. Whatever. Do I trust Cam Talbot? No. That's the team like the goalie they're going with. I mean, it's like Edmonton. Did you really trust Mike Smith? There's a reason why both teams got rid of the other guy. And then they goalie fought this year. That was awesome. I'm kind of with you. I'm gonna go with a dart. I'm gonna just go different from you just for the sake of differential. Maybe because Ben Bishop's a better goaltender, I'm gonna go with Dallas. All right. And our final first round series, St. Louis and Vancouver. I think could be a fun one.
It could be. I haven't been seeing a lot from Besser here for a while. Maybe I haven't been watching. Maybe I could be wrong with that. But,
we haven't seen a lot of anybody.
For some reason, I just have the impression that he hasn't been on his game here, and that hurts him. So for that reason, I'm gonna go the other way. But maybe I'm wrong about Besser, and I'm talking out my ass.
Okay. I will 100% admit I haven't watched a Vancouver game at all. I really haven't watched much of these games. I've researched a little bit. I've watched some. I do have the NHL package thing I forgot about. I was like, oh, yeah, I have that. This is a tough one. This is a tough one for me. I like Vancouver. I love their team. St. Louis is a very good team. Tarasenko, obviously, they won the Cup last year. We all know the story. I'm going to go with Vancouver. That's what my gut's saying. I think they could do something this year. I think they're going to surprise some people. And maybe a Western Conference final trip.
Yeah, I can't go against the defending Stanley Cup champions. I think they're just as good as they were last year. And again, I like Vancouver too. That's why it was tough, because I don't want to go for reasons I just said against St. Louis. But it was a little tough. And yeah, I'm sticking with St. Louis. So we have two different.
Both in the West. One was just random, and then the other one I think is a legitimate difference for both of us. All right, so I told you I'd give you my Stanley Cup prediction after this round. After we get done with this round, U.S. and Colorado. Do you have a team in the East that you would think they would face off against?
What?
Sorry. We were talking about Stanley Cup predictions. I said after this round I make a prediction, but first I want to get – you said Colorado is your Cup pick. Who's the team they beat?
Oh, who's my Eastern team?
Yeah, sorry.
Shit. I should pick, just for shits and giggles, I should pick the Islanders, even though I haven't gone out in the first round.
That would be ironic.
I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't like Washington as much as I did last year. Agreed. I mean, I feel like I'm just like hopping out taking Tampa, but they're the best team in the East right now.
I would say we have basically the same finals. I think Colorado and Tampa Bay are. If Tampa Bay can get through Columbus, I think we see world dominators from last year come out, and I don't know if anyone can stop them. I just think they're legitimately that good. They can be that good. And towards the end of the season, they were getting to that point again. As long as they get to Columbus without too much of an issue, I don't see them stopping. Because they're on a mission, and they're not going to forget about it. That said, I think any of the 4 teams we picked, because we picked the same, obviously. Philly's a bit of the underdog, weirdly, as the 1 seed of the 4 teams that we picked. Maybe, but they do. We talked about them being good. Washington, I'm with you. I think maybe their time has started to pass now. Again, they could make a run for sure. And Carolina would be fun to see. I don't know if they're there quite yet. So yeah, but I am going to I'm going to differentiate from you. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay as the winner. So
we're giving Stanley Cup prediction.
What?
Did I get it out of you? I didn't think you were going to be given one.
Yeah, I am going to go with Tampa Bay, so that means they're going to lose to Columbus in the first round, just like last year. I think
Colorado final. I'm taking Colorado. You're taking Tampa.
It's gonna be a good, if that's the finals we get, and that's gonna be a really good finals. I don't want to see Vegas there. Just have a weird hatred for Vegas, which is weird because I think we both love the Seattle Kraken. We're already like, yeah, we love this team.
We have our Stanley Cup predictions in with, so I said another topic to end this with fun hockey because we were talking with Carolina and that's Seattle.
Yeah.
They're just like coasting right now on we are making this a fan-based team. Just want a fun product out on the ice. Keep bringing it. I love the Kraken.
I'm with you, man. This is the name that we both kind of said once it came up. Like, yeah, that's the name they should be. Well, it doesn't really make sense for Seattle. And the Lightning, okay, I guess. The Panthers make sense for Florida. Okay, I guess they kind of do. Hurricanes, the Rangers make sense for New York. I don't think that should matter. I like the name. I think it's a badass name.
The only other name that, I like that was in consideration, like it was always Kraken, but the second closest for me was Seattle Reign, Reign.
Yeah, that would have been a good name.
I mean, that's good too, but I think that has a little bit of a more serious, not a little bit, I think that's quite a bit more serious. I think that just sets the team up a lot differently than the Kraken does. And they went with Kraken and just everything just seems to be pointing towards we want to have a fun hockey team. And yeah, I'm excited. Kraken. Everything. They have a young play-by-play announcer coming in that's going to have a ton of energy over that. That's going to be so much fun watching those games.
It is.
That hire from them, I apologize, I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Just a great hire. It's going to be fun. Fun hockey.
It's going to be amazing. And, they have a built-in rivalry already with Vancouver right across the border.
Yeah.
It's great. And, they have the same rules as Vegas for the expansion draft once that happens, with the exception of Vegas not being part of it.
Yeah, but man, the potential for big-name players is greater because we don't have a cap increase. Every team was planning on a bigger cap, bigger and bigger and bigger, and now it's just frozen for a few years. Tampa, there's no way they can keep all those players, and if they don't come up with anything to move them now and they don't take care of that now, you're going to have a big-name player from multiple teams taking the Seattle franchise.
Yeah, it's going to be – Seattle could have a very similar run as Vegas did, and it's going to be fun.
I don't want to sit here and jump out and say, oh, yeah, I think they're going to make the Stanley Cup Finals the first year. Like, and frankly, I don't even care if they're a playoff team or not. Again, I want fun hockey, and I think they're setting themselves up to be fun hockey.
Yeah, and
fun, fast, skilled,
amazing to watch hockey. And we see with Carolina, we talked about Carolina. Carolina's a fun hockey team, and ever since they went that route, I mean, they're good too. They're not like they're a bad team. They're a good team. And now see it like
feeds off of it. You have that positive energy going, and it doesn't have a direct impact on it, but indirectly, again, it's just positive vibes around that lead to winning.
Absolutely. Now, do you think?
Speak volumes to the negative attitudes in Buffalo for days. It's so freaking bad there, and they're a disaster. It's so hard being a Sabres fan.
You ain't lying there, man. It's not fun. Real quick, one final question on the Kraken. Do you think they'll end up playing when they're scheduled to in 2021, 22, I think is the scheduled date. Do you think there'll be a delay?
We're a long ways off from that. We don't know if we're going to have a 2020-21 season yet. And if that happens, it's going to be shortened. Or are they going to want to postpone their premiere if we have a 20-game season next year? There's too many questions to come about that. I hope we do, just because I'm excited for them, and
I am too.
I haven't been this excited about a hockey season. Looking forward to the Kraken season in a long time since I can't even say a long time. I got McDavid. I got screwed out of getting McDavid, and
Eichel. I'm sorry. All right. Well,
make me get down on Jack for no reason, just because he's not Connor, but I do because he's not Connor, and he was my favorite NHL player when he was 15 years old, and then everything just picked up where he was going to be a Sabre, and it was right, and then it was just taken away. It was ripped away like a 1999 Stanley Cup.
Yeah, it's a good analogy. Folks, he is not harboring still grudges from 1999. Clearly, he's over it.
No, I'm not. I'm not even pretend I am. I'm not.
I can't say a whole lot, just for the record. I can't say a whole lot because back in 1999 was not safe.
Don't even say it. No one needs to know your dark history.
Yeah, there was
Take it to the ground.
I was rooting for Mike Modano, but that's a whole other issue. Anyway, okay. So, is there anything else you want to add before we wrap this up?
No, I think this was as good as it was going to be.
Yeah, I think it actually ends up a lot better than I expected it to be. Your audio stayed pretty good. There was a couple moments, but yeah. Anyway, as far as hockey goes, I'm happy it's back. I'm happy to do it the way they're doing it. It really seems like the bubble, including in the NBA, has worked to really its full potential. And the MLS is doing it too. As you can see with baseball, it's not working as well what they're doing. And good luck NFL. I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to see the games back. It's curious to see no fans. It's curious to hear the audio.
It's a little weird. Man, okay.
Oh,
so one last
thing. Uno mas.
What the hell?
What you said? Sorry,
we don't. The announcers, some of them ridiculous. Some of them I haven't had the chance to hear before, and man, am I glad that I didn't. Who was I complaining about the other day in that Boston game?
They won? Or was it the Boston one, was it? I don't
was it? Oh, son of a... Now I don't want Tampa to win because of their announcers. They're garbage. You don't have a penalty off of every single play. You have somebody who hates Boston as much as I do saying, calm the fuck down. Boston did not take that many fucking penalties. You dumb shit.
That was radio. I believe it was radio.
I don't give a fuck. That's how I listen to every fucking game. I don't want to.
Would you
shut the hell up? They're horrible.
Now we can't end with defending Boston, so could you please give us a fuck Boston real quick?
fuck you, Boston, especially Brad Marchand. Fuck you, stop licking people.
Stop being Brad Marchand. All right.
Rat face fuck.
All right. Well, hopefully next time we won't
Normally have on here, but so I think we'll just wrap it up with that. You got anything else on?
No, I appreciate anyone that watches this. Thanks, Jay, for joining us with your horrible internet. We'll have this up sometime in the next couple days, I'm sure. I don't know. You never mind. Fuck it. We can't edit it out. But
well, he's been Christopher. I've been Jay. All been the Lunchroom Syndicate. Deuces.
bye, everybody. Please stop.